Welcome to Truth Speaks interview number 4. I'm Miranda Squires, and today I'm going to interview Lynn McCannel. And this is Lynn. I've known Lynn since the 80s when we used to dance here in St. John's with Kathy Ferry. And then I'm connected with Lynn again in the early 2000s when I returned from India, and she started to come to my meditation sessions on Wednesdays, I think. That's it was, right. And they still are going on Wednesdays. And so Lynn has been, she'll tell you of course, but she's been on a spiritual journey even before I returned from India. So I'd like to interview Lynn, and let's see how her experiences have been for her, and maybe she can give you a few hints about how you can go through your experiences. Or maybe you've already had some experiences similar to Lynn. Anyway, you'll learn something. So, hi Lynn.
Hi.
So, the first question I'd like to ask you is, tell me about your spiritual journey. How did it start? What got you interested?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I was 3 years old, or maybe even a little bit younger, but probably around 3, I remember that I'd be playing on the floor in my bedroom with my sister, and I was suddenly just completely like out of my body, lifted up, and looking down and watching us play. And I could hear what we were saying, but it wasn't really important. It was more like we were just quietly talking. And it was just this, and it felt so natural because I was only a child, right? So, and it happened probably till I was 5 or 6, maybe till I was 5, and it was just a natural thing. It was just like, I can be here, or I can be up here watching. So I knew that I could watch life happen. So I always knew that, and then it kind of went away. And I always felt a little bit out of place, like a little bit like not quite right, like all through my teen years, but then no teenager feels that they ever fit, right? But there was always something that didn't quite fit. And depression runs in my family, and I would get like these deep bouts of depression, and then they'd lift. And then I graduated from university, and I was looking for something, but didn't know what. Yeah. And then in my 20s, I think I was around 26, I went through a crisis, I just can't take this anymore. I don't know what was actually happening, but it was just like this urge to just break free, I felt so enclosed or so tight, and it was just whoa, right? And then it was, but that wasn't an enlightenment experience or a intense experience. It was more of
feeling
spiritual
trapped.
Experience. It was more of that, right?
Okay.
Of trapped, right? And then it did release, but it was like the beginning then of me going, oh my God, it's such a relief. So there was a relief there. And then I knew I was okay, but I didn't know what. And so then that became like, okay. And then I remembered when I was a child, and I was like, okay, now I can start to see if there's anyone out there who knows what I'm talking about, or who can help me, feel that it's natural.
Yeah. So that was around what age?
I was 26.
26.
Yeah, I was 26.
So you're saying you started to discover the Watcher at that time?
Yeah, well,
you
rediscover
it since you were 3 years old.
That's right. Yeah. So it went from 5 until 26. There was no, I think it was always there, because I was always just being myself and knowing that I was full of joy, and then I'd be really down, and then I'd be full of joy, and it wasn't like a manic experience or anything. It was just life would get me down. It would sort of wear me down. But then I always knew, even at the depths of despair, I guess, I always knew that, I never felt like I had to end anything or anything. I always knew that I was here, and that's what kept me going. I think, through depression as a early 20s or whatever. And it wasn't about anything. I think it was just life and no, I guess now I know, there was like no connection, no freedom feeling, no communication, no sharing. It just seemed like there was no depth. Everybody just seemed to be living on this surface thing, and that just got me down. It just, now that I think about it, it's just like, and so, but I always knew that I was here. I always knew that I was, like, I knew that the core of me was joy. Right. And that got me through. Right. Like, I always knew who I was, but I didn't know that that's what I was knowing. I guess that's like, I always knew I could come back to me as joy. And that, but I didn't have it in so many words. I just knew, well, maybe I did. I just knew that that there was always a core of strength and happiness and joy, even when I was in the depths of mental anguish, I guess.
So you say you always knew. So what gives you that confirmation that you always knew? Did something happen? Did a direct experience happen? Or is it just something since a kid? Or is it a memory from before?
That's a good question.
It's just something that was innate?
Yeah, it's just, I just knew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I
So
just
there's
knew,
a
and I
memory.
was certain of that because I could feel it. I could feel in the midst of just being down about whatever, but I don't think it was about whatever. It was just down, like just suppressed or depressed, right? And then in the midst of that, I would go, oh, right, and I'd go like, and then I'd like just. It was often like many little crises, like, ugh. But when I would get to like the breaking point, then I would be like, I'd be going, but it's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, that part of me would just confirm, or I don't know. It was just, I just knew that I could come back to being me. And that kept me going, kept me going through.
So that was a knowledge you already had innately.
And I always had access to it, but I didn't access it unless I was feeling really tight.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then when I was at my wit's end or whatever. Right. When I was just, oh my gosh, I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to do. I can't, like, I need something. Yeah. And then the something would just be, it's me. Yeah, it would be my real, but I didn't know that at the time. I just,
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me some other experiences. When was the next kind of very obvious, what we might call direct or whatever?
So that would be like, I guess, I don't know year-wise, but so I guess in the early 2000s, I have no idea about time then in the last 20 years, because it's 2020, but I would say, well, let's say 16, 17 years ago. So I was lying in bed, and my dresser next to me was just a little bit higher than my bed. And I remember just waking up from a nap, and it was one of those delicious naps where you just like feel so great when you wake up and everything's just clear and there's no thought and it's just la la la. And but anyway, before any of that, I woke up and just this overwhelming, I am loved. Just, I am loved. And I'm like, so my brain is going, what does that mean? Who's loved? Who's doing the loving? It's just like, immediately that clicked in, right? Like, but I just went, yeah, whatever. Because it was huge. It was like this coming, even though I was lying down, it was this huge thing that was just coming from the soles of my feet and just coming right up through me. It was almost like a geyser. And it was just, I had all this energy. It was just amazing. It was just like this, poof, and it just, I am loved. Oh my gosh, I can do anything. That's what came.
Wow.
I know. It was just like, I can do anything because it's not the little me that's doing it. I have all this strength and it's coming from here. Like, it's coming from, I don't know where it was coming from, but it was coming up. It was coming up, right? And it was filling me from below.
So did you have to sit up?
Oh, well, I think I laid there. Oh, no, I did. I laid there and just, then I kind of calmed down, but I could just feel the energy. Actually, I don't even know what was first, but what I did is I traced with my finger on my dresser, the reason I brought up the dresser, I traced I am loved on my dresser. I mean, it didn't come out on the dresser, but it just I just kept tracing it. I am loved. I am loved. And so I was kind of in a little trance of just like, wow. I just felt it. And then I got up. And then as I got up, that's probably what happened. As I got up, I just felt like I was just lifted. I felt like I was a couple of feet off the ground. Like there was no effort to walk. And it was just this. So I went over to a friend's house and just told her, you are loved, right? Because I knew it wasn't just me, Lynn. It was just, I am loved and everyone is loved. And it's just this strength and power and just this vigoration, like invigorated. I just felt like totally certain. And there was just all this energy of just loveliness. It was amazing. It was just amazing. Yeah. So that was my first, I didn't know it at the time. That's what.
So what I'd like to know is what was happening prior to that, like what created the shift?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No, I don't. No.
You just remember
I
that?
think I was just opening more. I was doing yoga with you at the time, those days. I guess I was just feeling and then I had this wonderful nap, and I guess I was just really rested, and I didn't know I was going to wake up with that.
Yeah, it sounds to me that you already are very open, and you're probably very open since you were a child.
Yes, that's right.
So those channels were getting more and more open, and so you just happened to be going through a period of time where maybe yoga or whatever was opening up those channels, and then it just kind of something just decided to blast open. Right.
That's right. Yeah. It was like, I am here. It was sort of like in Horton Hears a Who, yop. And the book by Dr. Seuss is like the last little, nobody can, unless that little yop comes out, and then you just burst free, and it's just,
Right.
Yeah, that was amazing. Now that lasted probably, I know now that I know that's just like a direct connect, just an opening or a direct connection or a direct experience. It lasted a couple of days. A couple of days. But I didn't know that it was called something or that other people had those experiences. I was just thrilled that my inner happy self was loved, and of course still my mind, my logical mind, all the time, well not all the time, but a few times during the couple of days, it was this doesn't make any sense. That's the really interesting part, is that it didn't make any sense to me, right? Because then I just kept saying, well, who am I that's loved, and what's loved, and who's doing this loving? Who's loving, right? Now I know, but I didn't know then. I just knew, certain. It's really interesting, the knowing. Knowing, it's so exciting. It is. It's really exciting.
Yeah. So you got into a state of, well, that's what a direct experience is.
Right.
It's you go into this vast open space of knowing.
Yeah.
You're just in that state.
Yeah.
So you said it lasted for a couple of days. So tell us about how it shifted, or how you got it integrated into your life, and because I know for me, when direct experiences happen, there's an integration period, and then there's a kind of a place where it's the standard way that I am after a while, once it's integrated. So how was that happening for you?
I don't remember with that one. I just remember that I wanted to share that, so I did. I had shared it with a friend, and then it kind of just faded for a while after that couple of days. But then I knew that there was this, I don't know, there was something in me that that wanted to come out, that wanted to be more. And so I think I just kept going, because it wasn't for quite a few years, well, maybe a couple of years after, because I resisted going to Enlightenment Intensives, and I have no idea why. Probably because I didn't know how to integrate, the experience into my life. Because I was, I would like to speak to people about it, but I've learned since that when you're talking to people who aren't ready to hear or to listen, my language, the language that I want to use, is incomprehensible.
Very good.
Right, So I kind of just damped it down a little
Yeah.
for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that if I was to really be like that all the time, which I kind of was all my life anyway, because I see now that even when I was feeling depressed, that I was always, like people said they didn't know because I was just being my natural happy self.
Right.
But I think there was angst in me because I couldn't marry the two,
Right.
like how to be human and or live life in the North American society and still express the way I want to express. Yeah, so that was like the struggle.
Right.
Yeah. So then after that, I decided, yeah, after you were offering Enlightenment Intensives, and I was like, no, I'm not ready for that, or I just wasn't ready. Like for 2 years,
Yeah.
I was just like, no, I was like,
Right.
and then finally, like I resisted, but even though I was still resisting, I said, okay, I'm gonna come, and I did, and that was at the Sunshine Camp. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right. That was
That's
the first
right,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's right. And
Yeah.
and so then everything was fine. I don't think I didn't have a direct experience that time, but I saw that I was safe, and it's almost like a deer coming out of Bambi's mother coming out of the woods. It's like, am I safe to come out, right? You know, so I think that's the safety time was
Right.
that first retreat.
Okay.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
it was, knowing that I was
That
safe.
you were safe
To-
to communicate.
Anything,
Right.
anything.
Yes.
depressed stuff, happy stuff,
Right.
anything could go on the table
Right on.
without feeling like, like holding back, right?
Holding back. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So I guess that's something that because your nature is more expressive
It
and
is,
communicative
is.
and all that.
Yes.
So I imagine you were going through issues in life where you felt like because you might be too much that you were trying to tame it down.
All the time. Oh my gosh. My mother would go, Lynn, like, I mean, what? Yeah, so maybe
Yeah,
that's probably why I went into this sort of like
Sure.
low periods, because
Sure.
I'd be like, am I too much
Yeah.
for people?
Yeah,
Right, yeah, but
right.
that was just me, right?
Yeah. This is who you are.
That's who I am. That's
Yeah,
right, yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
hard because
It's
a person
really
can
hard.
be a person can be not enough or they can be too much.
Right, that's right, that's
so
right.
the
Yeah.
ego is always judging that all the time.
Right,
But
right.
um,
So true.
But when
Because
we
I would
had-
feel both at the same time. I'd
Yeah.
feel both the not enough and the too much at the same time. I guess that's just part of like going through the human experience, right?
that's right.
Right, yeah. So that's really hard.
Yeah.
Whew, it's exhausting.
And relating to others while you're having that battle.
Yeah, going
Going
on
on
inside. Yeah,
inside.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's the struggle and the battle that really wants to end. That
Mm.
like, yeah. So it's almost like it's a buildup over decades. That just, but because I have always had this strong access to myself, I guess now I know that's who I am. Yeah, it just wanted to be free, right, and not held back. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
So that was a couple of experiences, as we're kind of moving forward in life. So tell me, were there anything else more recent or
Oh,
in the
there's
last few
tons
years?
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I went to another Enlightenment Intensive, and that was in Grossmore.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm just remembering. I think I'm remembering them in order, but that doesn't matter. So in Grossmore, it was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days in, and so I was going through a lot of emotional release. There was like a lot of old habits and old fears that were coming out, and that was great. That was a really good release. And I think because more and more I was releasing, then that was my first one that I really felt that I could really let, like, it was scary some of the time, but not very much. Just like images of things from childhood and stuff, like but what's so great about being guided in that is that it's like, just stay with it. We're all here for you, right? Like,
That's right. You have
And
a safe environment.
it was safe,
and
right? And then I could
supportive.
just see that was just a memory, and it was probably distorted anyway, but so it was okay. So anyway, so that went through it. So then I was relieved about emotional releasing. And then I was just listening to someone, and he was a very quiet person. And so I had to listen very intently. And so I'm listening really intently, and he's very quiet. And the room was fairly quiet. And this time, the words that, or the knowledge that came to me that time was, you are not alone. I am not alone. I am not alone. And it comes with this rush of energy, this huge rush of energy. It was just this like, whoa, like it's just, and then I'm like going, I'm not alone. Like again, the intellect comes in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
It's like, I'm not like, okay, well, if I'm not alone, who's with me, right, or whatever. Like, so it's really interesting how the logical brain is trying to fit that in immediately. We try to fit it in immediately to our model of life, right? And it doesn't fit in, right? It doesn't fit in. So it's like, but that's just the mind, and then that was just blown away. The thoughts get blown away by the intensity of the energy that comes with so I don't really know if it matters what the words are that come. It's the energy and the knowing that comes. So like, I didn't know what that meant. I just knew that it was amazing. Like, I just knew that it was something, right? I knew that it was something, and it was just this direct, I am not alone. And it was so exciting. It was just like, and your heart, and other people have told me this, right? Yeah. Your heart just goes crazy, like, whoa. And it's just like, oh my gosh, you're just like, oh. And so then I couldn't wait for him to fit like the 5 minutes to finish it. I think maybe he was into like 3 minutes or 2 minutes. So I had to actually sit on the energy for a couple of minutes. Like, I'm sitting on it going, I'm listening. Because I really wanted to listen. I wanted to be a good dieter. But it was like I was sitting on a powder keg. I'm holding it down, right? And then I just had to rush over to you and go, I'm not alone. And I still don't know what that really means, but I do. It's just, it doesn't mean anything logically to my brain. It's just that I just knew that. I guess now I'd say what it means is that the human part of me is not alone. That there's nothing alone. And that I'm not alone at all. Like, I'm not alone. I don't know. It's hard to explain in words. Yeah, it's hard to explain in words.
It is hard to explain in words.
That one's a tough one.
Because even though they might come out in certain words.
Words, that's right.
But your experience may not be what the words are saying.
That's right. It was more, that's what I'm saying. It didn't really matter what the words were. Yeah. It's just that I knew that was true, and I knew there was truth. Yeah. I mean, we're doing Truth Speaks. I knew that there was this immersion of truth.
That's right.
And I could feel it.
Yeah. So you probably, just my mind is trying to understand your experience, but it's like when you're in that state of wholeness and completion, right? When you're in that transcendent state, it has the quality of fulfillment.
Oh, totally.
And it's just like, and so then the language is, I'm not alone.
Right.
But it's not, I'm not alone. There's just a sense of being fulfilled and complete and whole and not too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
right.
Yes,
so you're not really with anybody. You're just feeling whole and complete.
That's right. That's right. And so that's why. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what the words are. You just know. I just knew, and that's what's so exciting is the knowing part. It's just knowing. And it's a certainty. It's a groundedness. It's a lifting. It's just
yeah. That reminds me of the first experience I had where I was working away on my ego, and what came out of my mouth from the direct. Now there was a lot that I did before that, but what came out of my mouth when the energy started to move, which is the Shakti or Kundalini energy, and that's what you're talking about there. It's like, and the whole body is like, was, I am my ego.
Right. I think I am my ego. Around when that happened. Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah.
And so I said that to one of my teachers, and he said, well, that's not correct. You can't be your ego.
Yeah.
I said, but that's not what.
That's right. And actually, I think I was there when that happened, and I remember, like, the words didn't matter. Like, I remember that. I remember it was the energy that was coming behind it, and I
Yeah.
recognized it.
That's
I
it.
recognized it.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just, that's what comes out.
It just comes
Right.
out that way.
That's
but
right.
in actual
That's right.
fact,
That's
it's
right.
just you're feeling the force of the truth.
Of the truth, that's right,
and,
yeah.
And so it just
Yeah, and you can't start to like mind
and then you
analyze
can't
what the
know.
words are. Right, exactly.
can't bring
yeah,
the-
yeah,
come
because then
down.
that's just, that takes you down another, yeah, that's right, yeah. Because this is the path, or this is the energy, right? Yeah, it's just, yeah. But one of the things that, so I just wanted to talk that when this was happening, it felt like very strange, but it felt like it was being whispered in through my left ear, and that happened several other times, and it was like, I knew then that that's what humans call grace, or the meaning of grace coming, and that's just an aside. That's just an aside. It was like I knew that this was grace that was saying this to me, and
beautiful.
it was lovely. Like I knew that's what I was like, oh, this is what this is, right? But but then I didn't hang on to that, word. But I know now what people mean by grace. They're receiving grace, because but it's interesting for me. It came in through my left ear that time, whereas the I am loved came rushing up from the left. So, but anyway, it's just fun to just how it feels like physically.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a definite
Yeah.
physical. Oh,
yeah.
Visceral, very visceral
yeah.
experience. It's
Totally.
not just a head thing.
Oh, it's not at all.
It's a
No.
total. It's
Yeah.
when actually the two come together.
That's right.
That makes that whole thing.
That's right.
It's because you're kind of coming out of the head and you're working in this area here.
Right.
Then this kind of
and
opens
then they marry, right? And so, as long as you like you don't. Well, you can't really when you're having a real experience. Even all those analyzing thoughts, even though they pop in, you couldn't care less about them because it's just so the energy just takes over and the knowledge takes over.
Right on.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So so that was
really lovely. And then oh yeah.
So there's more.
Well, I'm just remembering now what like that because I've had so many since then. But just going for a walk after, I love the way we always go for walks. Then everything becomes so clear, and everything shifts. Your perception, my perception shifts. I've just when I say you, other people have had this experience, but I guess my experience then is I just looked at everything differently. Like I wasn't trying to. I wasn't looking at it. I could see things were just very vivid and immediate. It was like there was a church in the town on the way to my bedroom, like little bed and breakfast, whatever. And I remember just sort of stopping, and the building was just in relief. It's like really bright and like I could just. Yeah, I'm trying to remember now, but like my mind's trying to remember. But I just knew that and then I would shift my gaze, and whatever it fell on was just really vivid and really there. And it like the next thing wasn't even going to be in my head. Like there was no time. Like there was no next thing or next thing. It was just the shifting of my gaze, or any of my perceptions were just like coming and going. It was just it was really. And that was like a real clear, open shift feeling like that. I knew that something had happened because, well, I knew anyway, but then I had never experienced that before. Right. So it kept going.
Okay.
It kept. So that's the aftermath.
After, yes.
When the body was calmed down, then everything was just so clear, like actually visually with my eyes, as well as just everywhere in my head or everywhere in my body.
You could see things very, very clearly. You could see the detail, and you can see the brightness.
Yes.
And that's happened to me too, where I felt like everything was just alive.
Right.
Like there was this sentience.
Yeah, it's almost like
it's
it's vibrating or moving.
Yeah, you could see everything vibrating with light
yes,
in it.
Yes. And I've had experiences since then that have been very intense about that. But so then there were several other retreats, and they besides the first one that happened in my bedroom, they've mostly all happened on retreats, because there's so much release and so much safety that it just but so then I know who I am, which happened at one of them. It was the one that I've always had right here, is and she or he or it, whatever, it doesn't have any. I am. I'm just like this, and the only way I can describe it is that I'm like this vibration, and I'm like this, and sometimes I'm very little in the shape of a curl, like this little, like almost like a pod, like a little pod coming open, like a little plant coming open. It's like in the shape of a curl, and sometimes I'm microscopic, like I'm so tiny, like like a tiny, like that. That's been a really cool experience, but who I am is this energy, this vibrating joy, just this vibrating joy, and it's just and I'm an entity, but not like that. That's like who I am. And then that one, and another intensive. I think maybe it was the Grossmorn one. Yeah, I think it was, because that lasted the rest of the retreat, and I felt just so safe, that I could feel in my heart that I could just lean back, and I felt like I was, for lack of a better word, like I was in God's hand, and that what I was doing as a human was like looking out over like the hand and just watching life as a human, like watching everything, and everything was for me, like, oh, it's all for me, like it was like that. But then I could just rest back, like I could come back, because this was home.
This is God's hand.
This is God's hand. This is
God
home.
was holding you, yeah.
And I've never left.
And you never left.
Right,
Oh,
that was what was coming. And I've never left, and I'm totally safe all the time. And then, when I don't want to like watch everything, I can just come back, like sit back, and then I sat back even more, and just back, and the image was back against his chest, or just like back against
God's chest,
and into his heart.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
Then just back. You can still stay here. Back, and then just back, and then I could just sink back. And I was like, oh, it was amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the expression of that always comes out for me in laughter.
Is
like
that
it's
right?
just, yeah. So when I think about how I am, like it, and it actually it comes back from being a child. Now I want to cry. It comes back from being a child, because it's that feeling you get when you're a kid that you're just so in awe of being alive, like or even just contemplating or meditating as an adult. It's like, like first thought, I guess. But you go back to no thought at all, like the experience of no thought at all when I'm deep. And then first thought is awe. Like
is what?
Awe.
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 Okay.
Like it's awe.
Oh.
Right? So I've been so deep, and I think this happened like a long time ago, like even in my 20s or whatever. But it's just, like I'm a lot, like I am. I guess it's that beginning of knowing. It's that beginning of, it's just but then, yeah, anyway, that was right. It's that the first thought, and only thought really is the only one that counts, is just awe, like it's awesome, like just being.
So that's
being
kind of
is awesome. I guess.
before the eye. Even.
Before the eye, yeah. It's like there's nothing, and then
there's the peaking of creation.
I don't know. It's just the bursting of it. The bursting of it. The releasing of it. It's just instant. Right. It's like this that. Oh, it's like almost like all the energy
power
in the universe was like building and building and building and building. That's what it's sort of like. That's from this perspective. And then it's just like, I know. I think it's more than I am. Is that I know I am, or I know, or just sort of like that. Like I guess that that I am. Just I like. Yeah, there are no words. It's just
That's the difficulty we're having.
Yeah, that's right. But that's as close. That's
that's beautiful.
It's the energy behind it.
So
the feeling
like you're
behind
going
it,
right back to the source, and then there's when you're resting back into God's arms, that
Yeah.
was beautiful. And that
Yeah.
is the sensation.
Yes.
Like you're just like, like it's almost as if we do the practice enough, it actually takes you and sucks you back.
Right. Yeah.
It's that
Yeah, and the
feeling of being
peace.
sucked back.
Yeah. If we talk about peace and you could just sink into that forever.
Yeah.
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 Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So this is some beautiful experiences here.
Mm.
So tell us, were there any more recent experiences?
More
I
recent
know there
experiences.
was one.
I went out to British Columbia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, with Murray Kennedy, and friends, right? That was pretty amazing, and yeah, that was even more open. I didn't know I was open, but I kind of did. I was struggling again with almost your question about how to integrate. How can I be all that I was just speaking of, and be human at the same time? And I was struggling with that. And so I guess on the second or third day, it was just such a struggle. And then I remember I was talking to this young guy, and all of a sudden, here comes the energy again. And what came out of my mouth again is I am a human being. And so again, it doesn't really matter what the words are. But in that particular case, it was like, and it was just like, and then the words that came is like, and this wasn't from, well, none of it's from the human or the personality me,
Right.
but it just came, and then I was looking into the other's eyes, and I was saying, how could I deny anything so beautiful when I love you so much, is what came out.
Wow.
And that wasn't me talking
Right.
at all. Like, and I was looking right into, and I knew it was just love telling me that everything that I guess that could be perceived, this is in retrospect, that could be perceived, or anything, or just me, the vibrating one, or all of it, everything is loved so much that what I think what I got from that much later is that everything is loved, and that there's nothing isn't included in being loved.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what level of perception I'm perceiving myself from the human, or that I'm like coming out, but everything, is that I just love you so much. Like, it's just, right? And so that was huge. And again, when I went for a walk, everything, the trees and everything were just vibrating, what we were talking about a few minutes ago. It was just everything, and that just went on for weeks then. It was just like, just went on for weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is something that I have also noticed, that the more of these experiences we have, they last longer because our nervous system is able to hold it
Right.
more,
Right.
and we get it more integrated. So we have a certain standard of living, and then the next experience we have, it seems to rise up to another standard, and it's integrated, and then it spreads out, and it can last longer. And after a while,
It just becomes part of.
It just becomes part of the way you see things.
Now I feel like I'm just open more, and And when I say open, I mean like I'm open for the godness or the love in me to just come and just be. Like, so that this isn't closed anymore, or feeling fear or down or closed. I don't think I can anymore. But that's taken decades to arrive at this to the marrying of knowing to letting this be knowing, letting it just come out
in your regular
without
life.
hiding it, or shame, or embarrassment, or fear.
Actually, let me ask you this question, and the question is, these direct experiences that, say, you've had, how do you see it improving your regular life, your practical life? How do you see it working for you?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
all the time. So I'm married, no kids. So, and my husband and I have been together over 40 years, and just like dating and then married. And every time I've had any kind of experience, even just like epiphanies or I've just grown up, you know, just this sort of human experiences as well as full-on experiences. And every time that happens, I integrate that into my life. So I remember, like, even before direct experiences, I would be like reading a book, you know, about ego or something, and then at some point I remember saying that ego always wants to be right, and then I didn't and then I just like if I start to argue with someone or just like if I feed the argument, then I'm just feeding the ego's. Right, okay. So then I remember one time my husband and I were having an argument in the kitchen, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I just went storming out of the kitchen, and I went to sit on the stairs, and I just like this, and he comes out and just looks at me because he doesn't want to have anything end, and until we resolved it, and then I just look at him and I go, oh, for heaven's sakes, I don't even want to be right. And, and I just didn't even want to be right. I didn't want to be right. I couldn't care. Like yeah. And so then he looks at me and he goes, well, I don't want to be right either. So I remember that's the first time that I integrated something that I had learned
Very good.
into my life.
Okay.
So now it's just been a continuous thing for about 20 years. It hasn't always been perfect, but this last 6 weeks has been really amazing because we've been home more from quarantining in early 2020 here, and I've been, and I think you were saying something about this is a great opportunity to go inside and everything. So I was doing that naturally anyway. So, and I was having a lot of angst. It was like this pull, and I didn't know what the pull was. And over the first few weeks of quarantine, and I kept meditating. I was and anyway. So, and then I don't remember right at this exact moment what something happened. Like I had this. But I don't. This time there was no words, but there might have been, and I just went like, oh. It was just like this relief, like this energy built up again, but it wasn't like really intense. It was just this relief, and I felt totally safe. I think I guess that was what was coming. I just knew that I was safe because, I just came back to me, and I'm always safe if I'm me, right? Yeah, and I think that's what came, and I was just so relaxed. And I remember my husband was still going to work because there was only a couple people in the office. And so he came back, and every single time he came back, like I'd be like starting supper, and he'd come in and I'd say, how are you? And he would feel how relaxed I was or how happy I was. And he'd say something funny and relaxed, and then I'd say something, and things that we would always just kind of be like before, like the beginning of the last 6 weeks, that I was kind of like still like trying to release something. And or at least I was working on something, and then and then when it released, it immediately comes back in that energy, and then I responded in a fun, playful energy, and then he responded and this was totally new.
Okay.
No, like normally he would maybe do the fun thing, and I just go, or I would be playful, and he'd be like I'm tired, right? But what I found is like it's been kind of lifting me up, like this sort of quiet, gentle, peaceful, happy, playful energy has been lifting me up. And so now that I see that it's almost like a magical way it's working. It's like I'm just observing that this is so light, and my heart can really open now, and I feel like really free. And so I think I'm always integrating it. And my family, when I visit them, like all over the world, they know it, they feel it, because nothing bothers me, or if it bothers me, it only bothers me for like a day, or maybe only for a moment, and then I release it and forgive it or let it go.
So you have a particular process to help
integrate
release it, and you're
I'm constantly integrating all the time, no matter what little releases, little, big, all around.
Good point.
Yeah,
very good point.
It's just It's just part of
It's,
being.
you
now.
know how to do it. It's sort of like you got the tools now, and you've experienced the state
Right.
enough times, so the
Right.
tools and the state, you kind of know where you want to end up.
Yes.
So you just kind of do the
Right.
processing,
Right.
and it gets faster and faster
It
and
does.
easier and
It
easier.
does. It does. It does. Yeah. And I know people talk about forgiveness and stuff, but it's forgiving the past. It's just letting it be, right? Like what happens is, even like with family members and different the way people are sometimes, and I just go, oh, it clashes with what I think should be right, or what I think is normal, a healthy person or whatever, and then they do the opposite of that, and so then I still have to struggle with that, and then I go, right, but they're coming from wherever they're coming from, and that's the behavior, and then I just let it go then. Like I have to like say, okay, it's gone now. It's the past, right? And just let it, so that's a big one though, that always can be integrated, because there's always going to be someone behaving in a way that's
not working for you.
doesn't
or
work for like and then I have to like, if I respond to it in an ego way, well then there's just going to be all that closing and angsty stuff.
Right.
And if I respond to it in the past is already gone, so I can just let it go,
Right.
and let that behavior be what it was, and then it's gone,
Right.
and then I can respond in a different way as if that never happened.
Right. So you're not taking it personally.
Yeah. In the beginning, sometimes I can feel that I can. That's the big thing about knowing who you are, is that you know you have a choice.
Very good.
Yeah, you know you have a choice to be responding on an ego basis. Even when it's super strong, I know that it's not going to last.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm really feeling that ego strength, the strength of it, but it can't last because this is so much stronger.
Yeah. That's true. It's stronger.
Yeah.
And it's because you've been feeding it. That's
Yes,
why
that's
it's
right.
stronger.
Yeah. That's
Otherwise,
true.
the other one was
The other
probably
one can be stronger, right? But yeah, eventually you'll get out of the role of it. If you want to get out, you will. Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
yeah,
so,
so that's interesting.
I would like to, as we're going to wind up here, so, but I'd like to ask you, for our viewers, what piece of information or any tidbit or tip or something that you could suggest from your experience to people having their own experiences and walking on this path, what would you suggest? What can you offer to people?
Yeah, I find, well, we'll all be, like now we're able to be together. I find that sharing your experiences is the biggest and most delightful thing. I remember after one of the retreats just coming home and feeling so much joy and feeling so certain and so loved. And then I live on Patrick Street in St. John's, and we have a huge church across from my house. And there's this lovely woman who's since died, but she was always at the church like 2 or 3 times a day, devout Catholic, but she's just such a lovely person. And her name is Mary. And I remember her like saying, "Lynn, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm great." And we held hands, and I'm like, I just came back from retreat and I'm so loved, right? I just feel so loved. It's so obvious. And she's going, "I know, it's really obvious."
Wow.
And so she's coming at it from her faith, and being loved by Jesus and God and all this.
Yeah.
And I'm coming just like, yes, but she knew what I was trying. She knew, like, past all the images and things. Yeah. She knew what I meant, and we were holding hands, jumping up and down on Patrick Street. And she's like 30 years older than I was, right? Yeah. And we were just like looking into each other's eyes and going, "Yes, I know. It's just so fabulous." And so that was really fun, and just being here with you and with all the people that were like, it's just the sharing. Because then you can just really be yourself. You can be yourself, because we want to be together, because we are all and we're all being loved, and we're all the same.
We need that reinforced.
But we
in this environment. We need a little support system.
That's right.
So you need
to be free
to be
to
able
be
to
ourselves,
express, yeah.
to be fully, because it's that expression. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so share and find people you can be with. To share is
Exactly.
my- yeah.
So sharing is very, very
Is
important.
vital. It's literally vitality.
Yeah.
The sharing is vital. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank
this
you.
is fabulous.
It's fun.
So if anybody wanted to ask you more about your experiences or anything like that, shall we just say that they can contact me and I
Yeah,
can
that's great.
pass
Yeah.
that on them on to you?
Absolutely. Love to.
Okay.
Love to.
All
Okay,
right.
great.
Well, I want to
Thank
thank you,
Mm,
Lynn.
thank you, Miranda.
And thank you, everybody, for
Mm.
Truth Speaks.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you enjoyed today's interview. And feel free to come forth and tell us your experiences or any comments you have or any questions you have. We're all about what truth has to say.
Right on.
Okay.
Great.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.